We are live. Yes, we're good. Okay. With 1 minute to spare, come on, hang on, it's gonna do this thing. Oh God. Hang on. Okay. I always forget to turn down the volume on the YouTube so we don't get the echo. All right, are we good now? You guys. Okay, perfect. Literally been on calls all day, all morning, afternoon. It's 2 p.m. here in Texas. I am cozy because it is fucking snowing outside. It's snowing in Texas. Anyways, okay, so today we're going to talk about brand positioning. If you have not been on the last few, this is a brand new live series that I'm doing called Self-Made. We're doing 13 episodes only here on YouTube. So if you've been following me on LinkedIn or Instagram or whatever, it is only here. I promised I wanted to do a lot more content here on YouTube. So that's what we're jamming out on. Today is brand positioning. Oh, why? Because it's super fucking important. That's why. My energy is off the charts. All right. I've already had 2 coffees today. We've been on calls, like, let's go. Put your comments in if you have any. I will switch over to that page and double check them. But here's the jam. All right. Brand positioning. Oh, why? What is it? Why is it important? And what you need to know. So you're either new to either starting your business, online business, personal brand, or you're starting something new, or you're reinventing. And so everything is new-ish, new at a different level. Okay. So if that's where you're at, then stay tuned because reminders are always good. And you're rebranding, you're reinventing, or you're starting something new. Like, this is everything. And this has been such a topic this whole week with every single call that I've been doing. We're going to get into it. Okay. So basically brand positioning, because everybody's like, what is that? Right? What is personal branding? What is brand positioning? How do you package yourself while remaining authentic? How do you be that person of authentic influence so that you can continue thriving in a purpose-driven business, if you will, or just have your side hustle and selling all those products and services that you really know will help all of your clients, customers / audience. So positioning is key for that. And I feel like so many people get it wrong, or things could just always be better, right? So if you're unfamiliar with me, my name is Sarah Delane. I have had definitely a diverse career. I started in the entertainment industry, so that's when I got my sort of first, like, just real life experience with personal branding, with psychology, with understanding archetypes and understanding just emotional mastery, all that stuff. But it wasn't until I started my own business that then I was actually able to put all of those things into practice and then continue growing it, owning something that I built myself from the ground up, right? Very different than working for / with other people. So if that's you, keep listening too. But personal branding, reinvention, those are my jam topics. Archetypes especially, those are my jam topics. And because I've spent so much time in the entertainment industry, it's just a different lens of looking at things and understanding the level of quality that it could be, or that the positioning could be, that then would attract more ideal clients, let's just say, be able to charge a premium rate for your products / services, and overall just making everything look, I'm going to just say it, it's look rich, right? Here's the caveat to that I always say, like, there are people that I don't work with, because there's some people who they want everything to sort of like look good on the outside, but then it's like not really good value on the inside. You know, you've probably experienced, or you know of some of those people. I always like to say, okay, we're just going to keep it blunt and real. Like, you can't polish a turd. It's still going to be shit underneath. And I am not in the business of doing that. I love making brands and personal brands look like the quality and the value that they truly authentically are, and then making it look even better. And that is one key factor about positioning. It's got to look good. It's got to look rich. It's got to look like people want to align with it. And that's one of the key factors that I find that a lot of people, I don't want to say get it wrong. It's just could be better. It's just could be better. And again, I'm filtering it through the lens of Hollywood, entertainment industry sort of standard. So, I mean, that's also the biggest entertainment, and that's just media, right? And if you're a personal brand, if you're the face of the business, then you understand creating media to help promote you and promote your products. So we want to make it look good. Okay. So let me make sure that I am covering all of my notes because my brain is going a mile a minute. Again, 2 coffees down. We'll probably stop there. All right. But you want to be able to position your personal brand. What I like to do is use archetypes as a foundation. Okay. So get ready to write these down. If you don't know about archetypes, if you've never taken a class of mine, if you've never been in a workshop, if you've never even been to my website, please jump over there. There is a brand archetypes guidebook. As a quick side note, I have just recently updated to sort of modernize these archetypes for just, I feel like where our culture and societal consciousness has expanded to. Okay, so there is a guidebook on my website. Definitely still, so many nuggets of information. Please go over there and download that if you have not already. There's tons of freebies and classes and stuff like that for personal branding. That being said, I will be offering very soon an updated version of these archetypes, but the core is still applicable for all branding as it is right now. We're just trying to, right? We're evolving. Everybody's evolving. Okay. So definitely look into archetypes if you don't already know. Archetypes basically represent the collective unconscious. There's 12 of them. You will find yourself identifying with one at some point. You will find yourself identifying with all of them at some point in your life. And what you want to first be able to do is identify which archetype is going to resonate with your core audience, clients, customers. How you do that is first get in touch with what are your, okay, so this is number one, writing these down, get in touch with what your core values are, what your motivations are, what you stand for and what you stand against. Keeping in mind that the last couple of years, we kind of went through an expansion. And so some of your values might have shifted. Equally so, I just taught this in a recent masterclass, your client/customers values have also shifted. So keeping in mind that just kind of take an assessment, even if you think you've already done this, or if you have done this, or if you think you already know this, like just doing a quick little like once over of like, what are my values? If you've never looked up your values or kind of gotten in touch with those, that is so key. I don't know what word to use to just stress the importance of that. I'll just say they're equally as important in relationships. Those of you who have been following me for a while, when I first started the coaching, right, it was all around the spirituality, higher consciousness, relationships, values, like all of that. So important. This is our human, there are values. They're what drive our behavior, different than beliefs. We won't get into that. That's a different video. But what are your values? What is at the very core that makes you, that drives your behaviors, that motivates you? And so getting really clear on what those are and imagining that those would most likely be the same, if not very similar to your clients/customers. Why would that be? Ideally, if you're selling no matter a product or a service, you have some reason that you're selling that product or service. You had some life experience that then led you to want to do this thing, to sell this thing, this service, this product. Something happened. You have a personal story, a personal experience that thus then is what you offer now. Put comments if I'm totally off base, but if you are the face of your own company, chances are that's it. So what your desires, your values, your motivations are, that's going to align with your clients/customers because they're going to want the service that you provide, the solution that you provide that was the solution for you when you needed it. Hence that's why you're inspired to offer that to others. Yes? Cool. So I'll check with comments in a second. So identifying first, what are your core values? What are your core motivations? Get so clear on what they are now. What they are now. Everything changed the last 2 years. So what they are now. Then choose the archetype. Go download the Archetypes book. Get an understanding of your clients and customers on a deeper level. Start being able to tap into their subconscious. You'll also totally relate to this because they're your motivations and values and desires. So you'll learn about yourself too. That's a bonus. But go download the Archetypes book and then find which archetype matches those motivations and values. Once you have that understanding, then you can move to phase 3, which is developing your brand narrative. There's so many different things to the brand narrative. Let's just start with stories. So let's start with whatever your desires, values are, connected to then whatever archetype that is that also has similar values, motivations, desires. What stories would be in the guidebook? What stories would you then need to tell that are your authentic, real life experiences, life challenges, life roller coasters that have helped you get to where you are now and thus have the motivations and the values that you do now, right? So see how those two things go together. So when you can kind of understand which archetype it is, then you're able to see which stories you would need to tell that would resonate most with your client's customers' audience. Number 4, that's when communicating your brand, everybody uses the word consistently, but consistency doesn't always mean repetitive action. Yes, it does. And it means consistent, so I love that people think that branding is colors and fashion. And as much as that is, that's like the icing on the cake, right? So consistency would be make sure that you have the same ingredients to duplicate the cake every time. So make sure that no matter where it is, whether it's your website, whether it's different courses, different things that you're offering, that there is consistency. Yes, the frosting has consistency, so your colors are consistent. But what is the foundation of the cake? What are the ingredients in the cake? And are those also consistent across the board? Some of you are hearing this for the first time. If you are, put a comment. And number 5, this is where I started off with this because it's the most important. Sadly, it's the most important, right? Everybody thinks marketing is the most important. Yes, goodness, for the love of espresso, like marketing is always important. But would you go out and try to date if you're not ready for a relationship? Some of you have done that. Some of you are like, whew, did that, learned, now I don't do that anymore. Some of you have gone on a date with somebody, you're like, you're not ready. Okay, sit down, Chad. Thank you. No judgments. No judgments. We've all been there. We've all been there. And marketing is dating. Branding is what builds trust. It's the foundation of the relationship. So don't market until you have the foundation of the relationship prepared and ready. That's how I differentiate those to kind of understand the importance of it. And it's not always what everybody pays attention to first, because everybody's like, no, I need to be in a relationship first. I need to go into a relationship. Not everybody's thinking like, well, have you done the work and created the foundation so that by the time you attract that quality partner that you are prepared? If not, it's going to show up. The lack of preparedness, AKA branding, is going to show up, and you're going to have to revert back, and you're going to have to go get everything correct. And this is what I find oftentimes with almost every single call that I get on, because they're either started something and they did all the marketing and they built the thing first, and then they're like, oh, fuck, the branding's not clear. I went out and I dated, but I didn't make sure that the foundation of the relationship was secure. So now I have to go back and do some work. Okay. And we should always, ideally, but we're human, we should always be doing the foundation first and then going out and dating. But we're human and we don't always do that. So there's no judgment either way, but it's just like, cool, wherever you're at, you need to make sure that you have the foundation. You need all the ingredients in the cake. Otherwise, you are just having frosting. And nobody likes just frosting, unfortunately. I mean, we do, but like at some point it gives you a stomach ache. You know what I mean? If it's just like too much and it's just, it's all sweet and it's not really a lot of substance at all. So both, and both are important. So that all being said, the final one is then, because we're human, and I'm just going to say it because it's just how we are, people judge the exterior first. If I got on here looking like shit, let's just be real. Okay. There was a couple of videos where I was like, oh, the lighting's off, but like, it's not as, we have this subconscious judgments of so many things. If I went on here just like not looking put together, you would have a subconscious judgment of it. You might already have subconscious judgments, even though I'm like showered and at least threw some on, you know, at least there's some lipstick, like put yourself together. But point is that we all have judgments of the visual first. We're human. Somebody try to argue that. I doubt you can. So you also appreciate. So you want the people to notice, the people who you admire to notice your brand and be like, oh, I want to stand next to that person. Oh, I want to do business with that person or partnerships with that person. So make it fucking look good. One of my clients said the other day, she's like, oh, just help me, just like help make me look expensive. And I was like, yes, like that's it. So cred to her, right? But like make it look more. This is where the positioning of everybody's like, oh, but we want to charge premium prices and we want to, you know, go after a higher end clientele. And some people think, oh, if I just charge more, then that's what's going to get them there. And that is a big fat no. Also, don't go charging more if the value is not there. That's my biggest pet peeve in the industry. Oh my God, but different video for a different day. Point is, have value, have the quality, have the like true expertise, and then make it look good for the love of espresso, please. That's the like, that's my favorite thing to do, honestly. I mean, maybe it's because I have 5 planets in Libra. And so everything is like, does it look good? Is it luxury? Like, how are we polishing this to just make it look better? It's just, again, it's an innate thing that I personally have. But again, I also have it through the lens of sort of like a Hollywood standard. So I'm looking at the quality from a different perspective. But that's part of the advantage. And when you can do that, and when you can have that for your brand slash product slash service, game changer. Cool. So focus on archetypes, focus on your values, focus on the archetypes that would align with your core values slash motivations. Then develop like the foundational sort of story or narrative of how you're going to communicate all of that, and then make it look good. It's always last, but it's most important. So if you ever want any support with that, feel free to either DM me on Instagram. I'm also on LinkedIn a lot more. If you haven't downloaded the Profitable Brand quiz of what's your profitable brand personality, that one is always super fun. It uses the archetypes. So nice. Of course it does. Everything I do has to have some understanding, a lot actually understanding of psychology behind it, because we're human. So the more that we can understand ourselves, the more that we can understand our clients and customers on a deeper level, because that's the most important thing, is to understand. In all relationships, we want understanding. We want to be understood, and we want to understand other people. And that's what creates those quality relationships. So the final sign off, something I always say, just to remember for your whole business, marketing is like dating, branding builds trust, sales is, I gotta just say it, sales is sex. It just is. If you can follow that, you're golden. Just remember that then your personal brand is what makes the quality of that relationship. Cool. This is self-made. We're doing 13 episodes of this. I am Sarah Delane. I'm going to run to the comments super quick and see if we have any, what we've got going on. Let me close that real quick. Yes and yes. Hi. I'm so happy to see you here. I literally just threw that up on Instagram. Like, all right, we're over here, guys. Michael, what's up? Question from last week. Okay, let me do these super quick and then we'll sign off. Sweet, and I'm still under my 30 minutes. You guys, side note, know that you can always send me questions and I will make them as a video if you have. So question from last week, when you're talking about direct to camera, who are you talking to / avatar? Clarify that a little bit more for me, babe, please, if you're still on. Thank you, Gabby. She's like, yes, awesomeness. Yes, so good. Okay, so question, and so what were we talking about last week? You guys, I don't remember. It's on the playlist. Who, when you're talking direct to camera, who are you talking to? I imagine that you mean your client / customer. Yes, ideally, hopefully, something like that. Here's how I do it, right? Even though I'm looking into like a little camera and there's no face on the camera, this is another biggest pet peeve. If anybody's taken my confidence for camera class, you've heard me say this so many times. Everybody always looks at the screen, which makes you look like you're looking at yourself. You don't need to look at yourself, but that's the human condition. Like we want a face to connect to. So it's a natural behavior, but then you're not connecting with your audience. You're not actually like connecting to their eyeballs. Like if I'm like down here, you're like, you're looking kind of at me, Sarah, but like not really, not as if it's clear here. So I honestly imagine who I'm talking to, whoever your ideal client is, they are a personality. This is another reason why archetypes is so important. They are their own personality. They have those desires and motivations similar to whatever that main archetype is. So who are they? Build them out like a character. This is one of the greatest things that coming from the acting world in Hollywood and creating characters, like I'm a master at creating characters. So you also have to get into that imagination when you're creating the character of your ideal client. It's not fabricated, it's not fake. Every character is developed based off of subconscious, conscious behaviors, and just human behaviors and desires. So everything, nothing's inauthentic really when it comes to that level, because you're either thinking about somebody that you know, or you're thinking of maybe they're who, like how you were before you got the solution that your service / product provides, right? You might be different than how you are now. You might have been different then than how you are now, but like, who are they? Build out that character, literally like an actor would, or a writer would, and get as creative as possible. And what are their interests? There's one of the main techniques, being in the industry when we would do character development, is literally writing backstory. Sometimes the writer of a script would write the backstory, but oftentimes that's also the job of the actor, because we're meant to understand human behavior and psychology on a deeper level. So we're like creatively thinking of all of these aspects of a whole backstory. Where did they come from? Where were they born? What were they like as a kid? All of these different elements to truly understand them as if they were a person, because they are somewhere in the ether. You create this element, and hence then that's what you end up attracting. So I don't know if that fully directly answered your question, but you've got to create that for yourself. If you haven't already, absolutely sit down and do that. But that's what people talk about when they're like, write out your avatar. It's just the more that you can do it more creatively and get into the deeper understanding of the subconscious and truly understanding the personality of that avatar character, that archetype / client customer, you're golden. Nice. Yes. Okay, cool. When I do my videos, because it's just me and the camera. Well, you're here. So when I first started and there was like nobody, like Nobody. And there's less here because I'm more new on YouTube. If I did a live on Instagram, and some of you were watching, right? We did a live once a week for 4.5 years, and we built that audience there. And that was because of you guys. So I'm more committed to starting that brand new. So I'm doing all new stuff over here on YouTube. And so, right, that's just building it up. So you have to be like, I'm talking to that person. Like, let's say if I love you for being here, if you weren't here, I would still be talking to you. That's so, and if you were here at the beginning, I went into it a little bit. I didn't go through and describe the avatar's characteristics, right? But it's like, are you the face of your business? Are you out here creating a product / service where you have to promote yourself and you're in the position of building a personal brand? So I understand that that's the overview, that character, the type of person. I understand their drives, their desires, their goals, their motivations. Also, because everything that I speak on, I have first done myself. So there's an aspect of me understanding that from what I've created and gone through and learned and messed up on and then did again, and right, like all those different understandings and the continual desire to reinvent and keep going and do bigger and better and more and keep getting better and then mess up again. And right, like what type of person is that? We all got to be a little bit crazy too. So if you're imagining that person and holding that view of that person when you're talking to the tiny little, black dot on your computer, phone, whatever it is, then you're not talking to a mechanical device. You're talking to the energetics of that avatar, right? I like to use the word character or personality because that is truly like who they are. It humanizes it, right? So I hope that answered your question and made sense. I know it made sense, but I hope that answered your question. We good? We're golden. Laugh out loud. Yes. Okay. Awesome. And you guys, if you didn't catch all of this, this will be up on the page. We will be back next week, Wednesday, 12 Pacific Standard Time. We're doing 13 episodes. I don't know what episode. I think this is like episode 4 or something like that. So self-made is all about those who you're self-made. You're starting something from the ground up, and you're either starting it new or you're restarting something. So it's new at a different level, or you might be reinventing, rebranding. And that's always fun. I've done that a few times. Brilliant. Cool. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate that. Gabby, I love seeing you on here as well, and everybody else watching. I love you guys. DM me if you have any questions, either on Instagram or on LinkedIn. I'm also a little bit more over there. So follow me there if you aren't already. I love you guys so much. Mwah. Yes, still within 30 minutes. We're trying this. All right. Hang on. Okay, cool. Awesome, babes. Much love. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I will see you next week. Remember, marketing is like dating. Branding builds trust, and sales is sex. Your personal brand is what makes that relationship profitable.